And then there's Miami and New York City and all that. They will remind you of those cities.
New York City, oddly enough, smells like the sewers.
This is supposed to be a luxury hotel in New York City, not the streets of New York. Hello and welcome to the Worldwide Honeymoon Travel Podcast, the podcast that talks about all things couples travel, including destinations, tips, advice, and more. I'm Kat.
I'm Chris.
And this is episode number 194.
This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I always like this episode.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I know that I probably have this may be like the second or third time that I recommend a certain thing.
Mm-hmm.
But for goodness sake, get it. And then I'll stop recommending it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, before we get into that, what's been up?
What's been up?
Yeah. What have you been doing?
Well, tonight was a very exciting night in our household. I am going back to the well. I have been hurt before. In March Madness tournament betting. That is how I spent 8 hours
making shoe pastry.
And
and custard that goes in the shoe pastry and the crackling that goes on it. I mean, it was beautiful, Christopher.
I lost.
But it was really good.
I had to spend I am not kidding. It was probably like 8 or 9 hours one day making this from start to finish. That was from the March Madness tournament, and now it's World Cup season. We're going back to the well, and we have 2 bets for the World Cup. We did like a draft where we each looked at the available teams, and we drafted teams, and then based upon how many wins and ties and blah blah blah, we will see who wins that, and then we filled out a bracket. So. Big stakes here.
Only no desserts this time.
No dessert. You
were like, I can't do it again.
That was a firm no.
Because what if France wins?
I am not.
You're making croissants. No.
If France wins, first of all, I am going to just throw myself out a window.
What?
Stop it. I am not going to go through this French pastry nonsense again. I will move to a different nation, and
to France.
No,
I will buy the pastry.
I am going to move out of the country. I am going to change my identity so that you can never find me and force me to make French pastry again.
But it was so good. You did such a good job.
Thank you. It was fun, but it was just like, my goodness. I am very happy to pay whatever price whichever baker is
That's not
charging.
the bet, though. That's not the bet. Well, the bet this time around is the winner of the bracket challenge makes a full dinner.
The loser of the bracket
challenge. The loser, not the winner. The loser makes a dinner of the country that wins the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited to see who wins and what Christopher's going to be cooking.
And you have France winning the whole thing, right?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know that Pogba is not playing?
Mbappe is.
All right, so you are France.
Yeah.
And France over who?
Brazil.
Okay.
And you have Brazil.
I have Brazil winning, and I have them beating Belgium.
And as we're recording, it's before the tournament or the World Cup. And sorry, I got confused because of the NCAA tournament that we did the bracket for back in March. Anyway, the World Cup is happening right now because this goes live, I think, November 30th.
It's happening as you're listening to it, but not as we're recording it.
If you're listening to it when it comes out. If you're listening to this in 2023, that will be past and you'll already know who wins. So
I was real hot with these bets when we first started dating. And I feel like ever since marriage, I have just been slaughtered with these.
Oh, no, because I always win, and then you always have to make me something.
I know, and I keep going back to the well, but it'll be good. Yeah, I have Brazil over Belgium. I go back to the Belgian well, too.
I feel like whoever loses has to make like a 3-course meal, including dessert, of the country. And so if if France wins and you lose, this
No.
means you may have to make pastries. So it may still work out.
Here's what I will be making if France wins. I will be making some little chocolate thing with a scoop of jelly on it. That will be the dessert. It will be a very light dessert, which will be nice.
You can make chocolate mousse.
I don't know where am I going to find a mousse?
Okay. Anyway, moving on. Also, while you're hearing this, I will hopefully be at the Christmas markets in Europe. I should be in Strasbourg by now.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I'm very, very excited about that. I'm going with my parents. Poor Christopher. He's staying behind.
Yeah. Well,
you only get so many days off. He just went to Florida without me, so it's fine.
For work.
Yeah, mine's for work too.
Can we make that? Okay, I wasn't disputing that, but it wasn't just like I was like going down to like Florida and hopping off the plane and going like Miami.
Yeah.
Like I was going, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Anyway, so speaking of the holidays, this is one of our favorite episodes to record. I don't know if we do this every single year. But
Hold on. What was your highlight?
Oh, I'm sorry. My highlight, well, I got all of my shopping done. My Christmas shopping done. Got all your stuff done.
Wow.
Yeah, except for the one thing that we actually have to go and get you fitted for, which is a snorkel mask. Which we know. He knows about this, guys. No spoilers here, because we have to go get it fitted.
You're not flying me to Doha for a U.S. game?
That is not in our budget. But yeah, I got all of that done, and I missed you a lot, so I was happy to pick you up.
That was very sweet. You picked me up with a note at the airport.
I did. Yeah, that was my highlight, was getting to see you.
Great.
Yeah. What about you?
That was wonderful. I'm going to go with something just a little different. I love experiencing something that like I have not experienced for like 15 plus years. We watched Semi-Pro this weekend.
That's your highlight.
Well, I forgot how funny it was. And like I forgot how many lines my friends and I used to repeat from that movie. Like at the poker scene, right? Like we would play poker, or like just like the everybody love everybody. It's right up there on the wall. Like things that like I hadn't thought about for like 10 or 15 years. And all of a sudden I can start like rattling off things in the movie. I just thought, yeah, it was good. I forgot how much I enjoyed that movie, so it was nice to see it again.
Okay, great. Glad that was your highlight, not seeing your wife pick you up at the airport after being gone the whole week. That's fine. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm comfortable in my choice.
Okay. I was going to say it was kind of nice because I am like a weird person when like I'm by myself. I don't really eat like a full dinner. I feel like I just snack. Like I just eat a bunch of random snacks while I eat dinner when you're not around. And I stand up at the counter and do that while watching like my laptop. Like I'll watch Netflix on my laptop and I will just like eat standing up at the counter, dipping like carrots and hummus and like cheese and crackers and all these things while you're gone. All
of the lights are off. It's just the glow of the screen on her.
No, it's
and
not.
Like if there's a knock at the door, you'll be like...
That's what I do when I'm by myself. Okay. Anyway, let's get into the holiday spirit here. Now that it's after Thanksgiving, we're getting into the holidays. And let's talk about some of our favorite Christmas gifts.
Yeah, so this is our podcast equivalent of 2 wonderfully written and curated articles.
Oh, thanks.
The gift guides for 2022, the Worldwide Honeymoon gift guide has over 50 gift ideas, and the France Voyager gift guide has 35 ideas. Those are mostly curated towards France, obviously. Go check them out. I will
link them in the description, too.
Great.
Yeah. We
each came up with 5 different gift ideas that we really recommend. and we're going to go from there. But I know that as much as you try...
No, I want to save the honorable mention for the end.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I also have an honorable mention.
Mm-hmm.
And I will save it for the end. Mine are in no particular order. Are yours?
Not particularly, no.
Okay, why don't you go ahead with number 1?
Yes. So, again, like we do this almost every year that we try to do. I physically update the couples travel gifts every year. I go through, I delete things that are kind of, I don't know, some stuff gets outdated after a while, or there's a new version of like things and stuff like that, or I find new things throughout the year that I think are really cool and I add those to the list, so that's why the list keeps growing and growing and growing. But I do delete things that really don't make that much sense anymore, or I've updated things like the GoPro,
sure,
or the
I know
Kindle,
what you mean. Yeah.
iPhones, things like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
So yeah, my number 1, this was a couple of, I think almost all of these I actually added to the list this year. That I liked throughout the year. My number 1 is on both my Christmas and birthday gift lists, and that is hotel lobby candle. It's kind of in the travel knickknacks section of our blog post. I just added it this year. I got it for Christmas last year from Christopher, the Paris Nuit scent candle, and I'm obsessed. It has lasted me all year.
It is a wonderful candle.
It's created by Lindsay Silberman and her husband. So she's a famous like influencer, and she started a candle company, and it's probably my favorite candle I've ever smelled. I didn't want to believe the hype at first, but then I got it for Christmas. It's expensive. It's like $50 something for a candle. So when you spend that much money on candles, you're like, this better be good. And it is. It is, there's no like random things added to it. It's a pretty natural candle. I think it's just pure soy wax with like a braided thread for the candle thing. But when you first get the candle, it's not a huge candle and it's only 1 wick. So you think, oh, well, how is this going to last that long? It really does last a long time. It's a slow burning candle, and you start smelling it from across the room even when it's not lit.
Yes, absolutely.
So there are times where I just won't even light it because I'm like, oh, well, I'll sit next to my candle and smell it. And it's something that I've used while writing France Voyager blog posts.
Hold on.
Is smelling the Paris Nuit candle.
When it's not lit, you just have it out?
Yeah, because it smells good. Like
I did not know this.
Sometimes I do. I mean, a lot of the times I light it. But yeah, it's a great candle. But it's not just Paris Nuit, which is a delightful scent. There's Miami and New York City as well. And then they also have things like spa, like cabin, chalet, things that'll kind of transport you to different places via the scent. And it's meant to smell like a luxury 5-star hotel lobby when you walk into it. So Paris Nuit, it does feel like you're going to a fancy Parisian hotel or having a fancy night out in Paris. And then there's Miami and New York City and all that. They will remind you of those cities.
New York City, oddly enough, smells like the sewers.
This is supposed to be a luxury hotel in New York City, not the streets of New York. If Paris was like true to form, it would smell like cigarettes.
No, this is a lovely candle.
Yeah.
I think that you talked to, I don't know, family or friends or what have you about this, and I am hoping that we maybe get some more scents. I like this Aspen Ski Lodge vibe.
Yeah. I asked for chalet and Paris Nuit again because I really like the candle.
Log cabin. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Put me there.
Yeah.
Give me some pine.
Okay.
Anything else that you want to say about what is quite possibly the best candle I have ever experienced?
It's worth the money. It lasts a long time, and it's good quality, and it smells really, really good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So my first gift idea is not like the sexiest or the most glamorous, but my gosh, have I gotten a ton of use out of this. So this is a couples travel podcast, right? Mm-hmm. And in every couple, just like there's one person that knows how to load the dishwasher and then one person who views it as like a Jackson Pollock canvas, there is always one person who is the designated, I am going to get the bug / critter / what have you out of our tent or our room or what have you when we are traveling. And that is a role that I proudly embody. I am the bug cup captain of this relationship. And if you guys are longtime listeners or if you're checking out the website, you will see more so on Worldwide Honeymoon, not necessarily as much on France Voyager, that we have gotten ourselves into some situations where maybe we don't always have electricity or something like that, but that does not stop the creepy crawlies and everything else from getting inside our room or tent or what have you.
Now, these are in rustic places, not just like the Hyatt, the Regency, so like Cologne or something. We're talking like Playa Nicuesa, like these outdoor, or the
jungle, rainforest.
Tambopata Research Center, where it's a 3-walled lodge.
This is a headlamp. If your designated bug cup, bug getter person does not have a headlamp, do it.
I love that that's your perspective. I put that on the gift list as like for couples that like to hike and go on adventurous trips together, so they could do night hikes or early morning hikes together, not necessarily to catch bugs in the middle of the night, but you know what? Whatever floats your boat.
It works well for that too, but you know how many times I had been trying to use the flashlight on the phone, trying to use this one cup, and then all of a sudden it gets out. This is hands-free illumination. You can't get better than that. Nothing says Merry freaking Christmas like a big light on top of your head.
It's a great idea.
Thank you. It's Rudolph with the
light so bright
coming out of the forehead.
Yep.
Yes. What is your number 2?
My number 2 one is my latest suitcase obsession that I love.
This is a great suitcase.
It is. Well, you just used it for the first time.
Yeah.
I pretty much might be using it from now on, other than like, I guess, I don't know. It depends on the trip. I still love my Osprey backpack. Don't get me wrong. That's still on the list. I think it holds a lot. I think it's really helpful, especially when you're going on trips where you need soft-sided luggage. Like when we went to South Africa, when we went to Kenya and Uganda, where they require soft-sided luggage for the smaller planes. I don't know. It depends. Like sometimes I like using the backpack, but I really have enjoyed this new luggage, and it's level 8. It's in my gift guide. It's a new edition this year, and it's the textured carry-on, and it's super lightweight, which is great. It fits quite a lot. I took it to Provence with me and was able to get everything I needed for 10 days in there. As well as like I have a smaller like personal item size backpack that I put my camera and stuff in, but
multiple zippered pockets
to keep you organized.
Built-in lock.
A built-in lock. Yeah, that's great. It also swivels very smoothly. Like I just kept twirling it at the airport. And it also comes in fun colors. So I have like an olive green color, which is really fun. Yours is a navy. They have like pink and light blue and black as well, and they have just a lot of different colors that really make it stand out at the airport. So I really enjoy it.
Yeah. Like you said, I just took it on my most recent trip. That was the first time that I had used it. I loved it. Yeah. I think for me, it depends on the type of trip. Like I would not necessarily take that into the jungle or something like that. Like, I don't know. I would take the backpack, but I mean, some of our past European trips, I think it would be great, or something a little bit, maybe not as rustic. I think it would go great, but yeah.
No, I agree. I'm actually taking that with me to the Christmas markets. Yeah, and I enjoyed it. I used to be kind of against having a rolly bag for the streets of Europe, but when they are so smooth like that, it really works well, and it worked well in France, and I'm excited to use it again. If you guys do want to purchase this, I do have a discount code, and it is Catherine10, so KATHERINE, and then the number 10. And that'll get you a bit of a discount on that if that's something that, if you're looking to buy new luggage. But yeah, I really enjoy it. I like my green suitcase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My number 2 is a Kindle Paperwhite. This is, again, probably in the headlamp category of just something that's useful.
Well, it helps keep you entertained on the go.
It does.
Yeah.
Whether it's a train ride between cities or even long planes. Like, I am not the type of person that can just like zone out and watch movies the entire plane ride.
Or just anxiously watch the map.
Yeah. We all cannot be you.
No, I enjoy watching the map, but
I know you do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I I read a ton on trips, especially when there's like downtime, like if it's pool time or beach time or what have you. And I do love a hardcover book. I love a physical book in my hands, but at the same time, I'm not going to bring like 6 or 7 that I would burn through on a trip. So yeah, the Kindle Paperwhite I think that's been like a long time member of the gift guide, and deservedly so.
And the one that's linked now is the latest model.
Great.
So that's been updated on there. Yeah. I love the Kindle. We both took our Kindles to Costa Rica because we had some beach time there. We had some downtime at the coffee plant or the coffee farm that we were staying in. And we got a lot of reading done, and it was so relaxing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's lightweight. I mean, it doesn't take up a lot of room in the suitcase at all.
This new version holds like tons and tons and tons of books. Like, I don't think it would be very hard to fill up that Kindle. I think the new one.
Awesome.
Number 3 for me, and it's on my list now. And I didn't know I was going to cave and want this, but the AirPods Pro. I think it's the Pro 2 is the latest version that I added to the list this year. It's on my Christmas list for Christopher. Hint.
Hint.
But I like that it's noise canceling, which is great, especially on planes. It's lightweight. I actually carry like my Audio Technica big bulky headphones that I edit the podcast with on the plane, and it takes up a lot of space in my luggage, which is challenging when I now have a camera, like a professional camera, as well as, you know, all of my other stuff, and I travel carry-on only. So it's nice to have something that's compact and it fits right in my purse, and it's great for going for runs, you know, just at home, which I like because I'm rocking the tethered, the old iPhone headphones that's still attached to the phone. And that makes it like challenging during runs versus like having AirPods Pro. And at first I was worried about it slipping out of my ears, but apparently these new ones are really good fitting into your ears and stuff. I've asked a lot of people before I added it to my list. But yeah, I think it's great for, you know, it's a lot more portable and noise canceling and great for travel, especially on planes and on trains. And if you want to go for a run on your destination that you're in, you can do that with your new AirPods.
Awesome.
Yeah.
My number 3 is a travel inspiration gift. Mm-hmm. And that is a scratch-off map. I dearly love our scratch-off map. Mm-hmm. So do you.
Yeah.
You, there is a loving joke that we have between the two of us where Catherine does not brush her teeth over the sink. She walks out into the living room, electric toothbrush and all, right, spraying toothpaste.
I'm not doing that. I'm not spraying toothpaste everywhere.
And stands right in front of the scratch-off map, and we'll just look at it.
I do. I look at our photos. I look out the window. I look at the map. And I'm like, oh, where are we going to next? And where do I want to go? I don't know why I do that every morning. It just became a habit.
I don't either. You don't do it in the evenings, just the morning.
Yeah.
But the scratch-off map, for me, like I said, it's all about travel inspiration. Sometimes I find myself being like very one-track. Like I'll like really hone in on something, which is great, right? Like if there's a place that I want to visit or an experience that I want to have, that's going to be at the top of the list. I mean, there's not going to be a lot to change that. But, I mean, if any of us were asked, hey, name 20 countries that you'd like to go to, and we wrote it down without looking at a map, we could be like, oh, I forgot this, or I forgot this. Like, oh, I think I'm going to switch this. And the scratch-off map is just kind of a nice visual on the walls, but it's also a nice little piece of travel inspiration, whether that's like a national park scratch-off map, whether it is a like wonders of the world. We have a world, like a countries and flags one. There's states in the U.S. There's wine regions in the world. There's wine regions in other countries. Like
there's specific country maps. There's
exactly.
On France Voyager's gift guide, there's one just about France.
I was just going to mention that. Yeah. So anything where it's anything where there's like a little teaser, like it's almost like encouraging you to kind of get out there, see more, do more, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm all about it.
Nice. And then my last official one, and this is kind of a general one.
Hold on.
Sorry. No, number 4. Number 4 is sort of, it became very popular this year, and not for a great reason. The gift is fine. It's good, and it's almost necessary these days. But with the chaos of bags being lost or abandoned at various airports, air tags is a new addition to our list this year, simply for necessity. I think if you're going to check a bag, having an air tag is a really, really good idea. And I think it's $25 for each one, or you can get a 4-pack for $99, I believe. You put that in there, it pings off of, I think, other iPhones, and then it'll help you know the location of your bag. So if the airline happens to, you get to the turnstile or whatever it is, the conveyor belt.
The carousel?
The carousel. There we go.
You get to the turnstile. And they stamp your ticket and they say, "Come on in the fare, young lad." That'll be a nickel.
Okay. So if you get to your destination and you're waiting on your bag and it's nowhere to be found, with an air tag, you can at least locate it. I know that has helped quite a few people who the airlines literally were like, "We don't know where your bag is." And you're like, "Well, it's right here because I have it on this map thanks to my air tags." So I think that if you're a person that cannot do carry-on only, I would 100% recommend getting an air tag just to keep track of your luggage.
I agree with that, especially with, like you said, a lot of the stuff with the airport. I don't know why I thought of this, but when you said, you ask someone like, "Where's my bag?" And they say, "I don't know." And you say, "Well, I know, it's right here." And I'm just picturing like someone in line being like, "I have it with me and I'm just making your day difficult." I'm like, well, here we are. Yeah.
What's your
Anything else
one?
about air tags or no?
No. Just I think
Gonna check the bag? Better get the tag.
Oh, that's a good line.
Thank you. Number 4 is something that I dearly love. It is anything from Amber Share's Subpar Parks collection.
Yeah, I like her stuff.
Yes, there are prints, there are calendars, there are like knickknacks, home goods, all of that kind of stuff, right? We have a print living near Cuyahoga Valley National Park. We have a print from there. Just the entire concept cracks me up, right? The 1-star reviews of national parks.
I like the Grand Canyon, just a big hole.
Yeah. So there's it's pretty funny. If you guys are not familiar, definitely check it out. Look at her work, and I guarantee you will find something either for yourself or for someone that you are going to get a gift for.
All right. My number 5 is kind of a general one, and it's mostly on the France Voyager one, but I don't know. Who would hate this, but food products that remind you of a destination.
I thought you were going to say an all-expenses-paid trip to Paris.
No, that's up there. I mean, that's on the list.
I saw that on the list.
I put that, I think, at the very end. It was like, if it's really generous, you could pay for that. But food products. So there are plenty of things that you can purchase online for your favorite person for whatever country they love. For example, with France Voyager, there is La Maison du Chocolat. You can buy a bunch of fancy chocolates for them. Ladurée ships in the United States and has macarons. The Bon Maman Advent calendar. So if you have a jelly and jam preservative type person who loves all of those things, you could get them the Advent calendar as an early Christmas gift, just so they could sample a bunch of flavors. There are mustards, like Dijon mustard, like Edmund Fallow. You can buy some of that stuff online. So just food products, things that they can eat that will remind them of a country that they love dearly or a destination that they really enjoy.
Awesome.
Yeah. My
last gift idea is also in the travel inspiration category, and that is Lonely Planet's Ultimate Travel. They have 2 volumes now, volumes 1 and 2. I love these books. If we are thinking about going somewhere, if we are between like 2 destinations or 2 countries or something like that, these are generally the first thing that I will look at to see what are some of the cool things there, how they describe it, all of that kind of stuff. I just absolutely love these books. I have read them cover to cover. Embarrassingly enough, I have like made a giant chart of all of them, all of the rankings. So each one has like the top 500 experiences, destinations, what have you in the world. I love them dearly. And they are a great piece of travel inspiration. Now, honorable mentions. I will go first.
Okay.
My honorable mention is a subscription to Duolingo Super, Family Plan, what have you. Mm-hmm. Duolingo is something that both of us do religiously every day. Sometimes it can get frustrating if you're doing it on your phone and you're losing hearts.
Yeah, you only get 5 chances.
You only get 5
chances.
chances.
You have to do lessons, like you have to go back and do old lessons to gain more hearts.
Unless you want to do it on the desktop.
Or pay for it.
It, which is where Duolingo Super comes into play. Yes. Yeah, I mean, both of us have said, like, you really enjoy speaking French when we travel. I really enjoy speaking Spanish. And this is a way to fast track that learning.
Yes, and mine is very niche, I will admit. It is on the France Voyager gift guide specifically, and it's kind of on my wish list one day too, is a raclette grill. And I dearly, dearly love raclette. So when you go to places kind of near the mountains in France, especially in the Alps, there's a lot of restaurants that will serve things like fondue and raclette. And raclette is basically a half wheel of this cheese that's put under a heat lamp. And then as it melts, you scrape it off onto potatoes, onto veggies and bread or meats and different things. And while that is a little bit more cumbersome to have at home, they do make these special little raclette grills that has a little grill for your veggies and meats on top, but then these little drawers that you can put pieces of raclette in, and it'll melt that cheese, and then when you're done grilling your veggies, you put it on a plate and pour the cheese on it. So, and it's great for having raclette parties, where you invite a bunch of friends over. So who needs a fondue party when you have raclette? And then you guys can drink some Savoie wine and eat some cheese-covered veggies and meats.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think that's
the gift guide.
That's the gift guide for this year, guys. So our favorite gifts of this year, things on our wish list, things that we recommend and love. But let us know what your favorite gifts are this year. You can let us know on Twitter at WWHoneymoon, Instagram at Worldwide Honeymoon, or email kat@worldwidehoneymoon.com. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to rate and review our podcast. It takes less than a few minutes and really helps other people find us. Also, if you're enjoying this awesome free information on both the blog and podcast, when you're booking your next trip, head over to worldwidehoneymoon.com/resources and use the links provided. We earn a small commission at no cost to you when you book through these links, and these are all brands and companies we know, love, and use, like Skyscanner for finding the best flight prices, World Nomads for the best travel insurance, TripAdvisor for hotel bookings and reviews, and even Amazon for all of your travel purchases.
Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Wherever you are, wherever you go, remember to make every day a worldwide honeymoon.